Sir William CO.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. In terms of just the boundaries, you've got to ask, one has to ask, why is government so determined to hand over Auckland's dams to Waikato's Regional Council? There were many contentious issues as we listened to the people of Auckland take the time to come and submit on this particular bill. And the contentious issues, one of them was around the northern and southern boundaries. Now, it's actually quite good that the government at the 11th hour has decided to change its mind, I suppose because its secret agenda was revealed for all to see, that they were really sort of linking themselves closely to Mr. Hyde's business people who were wanting to develop that part of Northern Rodney without having to go through the normal council consent process. But we've got to come back down to the southern boundary and recognise that the bill proposes to partition Franklin, with the north joining Auckland and the southern part joining Waikato District Council. Some of the members of this House would have received a recent email from Mr. Colin Bull, who just feels quite strongly about this issue, so strongly that he believes that the national government, a party that he is affiliated to, I'm not sure whether he's a supporter or a member, but nevertheless quite close to, he says that they're making the wrong decision. And funnily enough, when we were in Papakura and then in Franklin listening to the submitters there, I said to the chairman, the Honourable John Carter, you know, the National Party are going to get bitten by this bill. Just hear the anger and of the submitters. I think they're mainly your supporters. And the Honourable John Carter turned to me and says, what do you mean they're our supporters? They're our members. And they were the people there fundraising for the National Party, and they are the people that they are going to have a problem with. One of the media headlines yesterday was, and I quote, National MP critical of Super City boundary back down. And this is the member of is it Franklin? Hunua, the member for Hunua, Dr. Hutchison, who says that the boundary goes through the streets of Waihuku. The southern boundary, sir, is critical because not only are the critical water supplies, or 54% of Auckland's water supply is being cut off, but the prime regional parks land, including 3 regional major parks, all paid for by the ratepayers of Aucklanders, all managed by the Auckland Regional Council, well, that's now been given away. And dividing, the boundary divides the towns of Waihuku and Pukekohe, separating the residents of northern Franklin from essential services and infrastructure. And earlier today we hear a release by the chair of the Auckland Regional Council who says it is absurd and definitely not good local government. And the call that we would make on behalf of the people of Auckland to this government is it is not too late to change the southern boundary and save face and get things right. So listen to the people of Auckland. The other area, sir, that is contentious insofar as the people of Auckland are concerned is with regard to the local boards. The Royal Commission came out with, after the extensive research and consultation that they undertook in 18 months, and came out with a recommendation that, yes, there be a unitary authority, and underneath that unitary authority there be local boards of sufficient size to be able to meet and manage the existing needs of ratepayers of Auckland, and it also of sufficient size to recognise that the transition from the existing 8 local territorial authorities to this one single unitary authority was going to take time, sufficient time, not the time that this government is giving to the people of Auckland, ramming it through the first bill in urgency, ramming through the select committee process where people felt that they weren't given time. It was so hasty, so rushed, and of course the experience of many Aucklanders is when governments do that, They get things wrong. They get things wrong. And so the local... Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman...
I call
Mr.
Simon
Chairman,
Bridges.
Mr. Chairman.